is going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the Ten7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another quick picks. It's been a goddamn while, guys. We had the week off, and then last week, guys, I was going through some shit, some health stuff. Really wasn't able to get a video out, but we are back, and god damn it, it feels good to be back on an absolutely massive UFC 320 fight week. We got the big rematch, right? Magomedov Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2. A very close fight the first time out. We got Marab defending his title against Corey Sandhagen. And, of course, a fight I'm looking forward to, Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree, which basically the fans' main event, right? That should be an absolute banger. There's no other way about it. A stacked main card, a so-so, prelim card, whatever, guys. Welcome to the quick picks. If this is your first time, I'll run you through what we do. We don't waste time. We go through every single fight. I give you just a little bit about fighter A, a little bit about fighter B. I give you my prediction. We move the hell on. It's really fast, and we don't waste too much time. Before we get into it, do me a favor. Do like the thing at the bottom says. Hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. And then you can also do like the new thing at the bottom says and follow us on Instagram at the Ten7 MMA. Got a bunch of pictures with us, fighters, and we're followed by guys like Yuri Prochazka, who's fighting on this goddamn card. We're also blocked by Alex Pereira. That's another story for another time. Hook your boys up with a follow on Instagram. We are here to talk about UFC 320, guys. The quick picks. Let's get straight into it. Let's not waste time. First fight of the night. We've got Miss Hardy, Veronica Hardy. She has taken on Brogy Bear Brogan Walker of Ultimate Fighter fame. Guys, this fight is really goddamn simple. If you've been watching this show for any amount of time, or, whatever. I've said it on a handful of occasions, I should say. Brogan Walker, to me, probably the worst fighter on the roster. That sounds shitty. She seems like a nice person. I don't mean to be rude. She just ain't cut out for this UFC shit. I mean, she's tough as hell. That's good. But that's really all she's got going for her. She has a good ground game. That's like what her style was based on originally. She's kind of become more of a striker, and I don't know that that's a good thing. She's taken on Veronica Hardy, who at minus 650, absolutely crazy odds. I will not be betting that, but I am pretty goddamn certain she wins this fight. She's high IQ. She's got great striking, great movement. The ground game has been evolving, and we see that from her. And again, not to dwell on it, but that IQ is really high. Dan Hardy in her corner, another guy with a very high IQ. The UFC likes Veronica Hardy. She's constantly on these big cards, opening up the prelims. Give me Veronica Hardy by decision. Pretty easy fight. Fairly goddamn confident. We move on. Ramiz Brahimaj, the Albanian, and he's taken on Mr. Paige Van Zandt himself, Austin Vanderford. Guys, Ramiz Brahimaj, tough Albanian grappler. He's willing to be on the ground, right? Like, obviously he's a grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a finishing threat when he's on the ground, but he's willing to take shitty positions on the ground, which I don't love for him. Now, on the feet, not too much technique, but some very solid power from Ramiz Brahimaj. Mediocre on the feet, good on the ground. Wrestling is okay. He's tough as hell. If you remember his ear dangling, that's this guy. He's taking on Mr. Paige Van Zandt, Austin Vanderford, a wrestler, right? A grindy veteran. Another guy that's willing to just walk you down, walk into the fire to get to that grappling. Another guy with really goddamn good jiu-jitsu. So this is grappler versus grappler. The difference in this, to me, is going to be Austin Vanderford's wrestling ability, right? Now, I think on the feet, they're both bad. I do think Ramiz Brahimaj probably has more power on the feet. I just don't know that this fight's going to take place on the feet too much. I think a lot of it takes place in the clinch. And if they're in the clinch, I expect Austin Vanderford to be a little stronger, to be able to get the takedowns, to be able to control the position. And if it's two grapplers, the guy controlling the position should be able to win, should be good enough in the jiu-jitsu to stay safe. So I like Austin Vanderford here. By decision, it's a tough one, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Ramiz Brahimaj, very dangerous, but the pick is Austin Vanderford. Moving on, and just a little, little disclaimer here. There's these first few fights on the card. I mean, that first one, very obvious. That second one, somewhat obvious. It gets a little murky here for a little bit, but we're going to figure it out, guys. Don't worry about it. We've got Punahele Soriano, and he is taking on Nikolai Veritennikov, who famously fought Austin Vanderford not too long ago. But anyways, Punahele Soriano, guys, you know the deal. Big ass, powerful striker, solid technique, really good footwork, has the power to put people away with one goddamn shot, which is a problem that a lot of guys that are wrestlers tend to fall into. It's a trap they tend to fall into in the UFC. These wrestlers that become strikers because they get a couple knockouts. And he's a really goddamn good striker, but you wouldn't know from his last, 10 fights, if you were to just like aggregate them, that he's a really goddamn good grappler. We did see it last time out, but really, he was originally a wrestler coming up. Doesn't use it as much as I would like. Implemented it last time, which was really nice. He's one of those guys that has the wrestling in his back pocket, and I just wish he would use it more often. He's going to need to in this one because he is taking on Nikolai Veritennikov, a very, very powerful kickboxer. Really goddamn good power in his hands, a really good chin, a tough dude who is dangerous throughout the 15 minutes. Massive hole in his game is that takedown defense, which is why I was stressing Puna needing to use those goddamn takedowns, right? Shoot a double, motherfucker. Like, what are we doing? Nikolai Veritennikov, not great takedown defense, not very good on the ground. He looks pretty goddamn lost there. And if Puna comes in with a wrestling style, he easily wins this fight. If he doesn't, it turns into a coin flip. I will trust Punahele Soriano because he has that slight advantage of the wrestling. And even if the fight takes place on the feet, it's pretty much 50-50. Someone's getting knocked the fuck out if they stay on the feet. So I will go Punahele Soriano. Not very confident. Moving on. A very, very interesting fight. We've got Patrick Patchy Mix, and he's taking on UFC newcomer Jakub Wiklacz. This is obviously a Polish fighter, if you couldn't tell from the spelling of his fucking name. This is one of the two dudes that Joanna Jacek brought in. She's their manager. She's their protege. She's whatever the fuck she is to them. And this kid is a nasty, nasty grappler, right? Really goddamn aggressive. He's a good wrestler. A really, really great finishing skills. He is constantly hunting the finish, sometimes like to a detriment to himself, right? He is willing to be submission over position, which I don't love for him. Now, on the feet, he's wild. He's unrefined. Not so good on the feet. Definitely a strict grappler. And he is taking on Patchy Mix. Now, for UFC fans exclusively, people that didn't watch Patchy Mix in Bellator and I guess somewhat in the PFL, Patchy Mix was a bad motherfucker who came in with a lot of hype, guys. A lot of hype to his name. He was 20-1 coming into the promotion. Obviously, lost to Mario Bautista, but this was a guy that everyone expected to be contending for titles. Had he beaten Mario Bautista, who knows? This could have been him instead of Corey Sandhagen in the co-main event tonight. But Patchy Mix came out there and laid an absolute egg, a dud of a performance, fucking awful. A lot has been said from him. A lot has been said from his girl, Tatiana Suarez, about Patchy just wasn't himself that night. Not that he wasn't himself, that he was scared of the big lights or whatever. They're kind of alluding to injuries. They're kind of alluding to illness. They're kind of alluding to problems outside the cage that he could not avoid bringing with him into the cage. And it's tough for me to believe that, but it's also tough for me to not believe that, right? The way I see it, Patchy Mix, when it comes to Jakub Wiklacz, great grappler, as I mentioned, very dangerous, all of those things. Patchy Mix is better at all of those goddamn things from what I've seen, right? I've seen all of Patchy Mix's fights. I mean, not all of them, but I've seen like 15 of them. And I've watched Patchy Mix live for years. It's a guy that I've met multiple times, a dude that's been nothing but nice to me, a guy that's engaged with us at the Ten7 MMA on Instagram, which you should follow us, as the thing at the bottom says. I got to believe Patchy, right, guys? I mean, I've seen the greatness of Patchy Mix, and I got to just assume that last performance was just a bad night at the office, whether it was an injury, whether it was an illness, or whatever the hell it was. Patchy Mix is minus 278. I think Vegas knows what they're doing. He's the better striker, even though he's not a great striker, but he is awkward. He's got some decent power on the feet, especially with those knees and awkward shots that he throws. And then on the ground, it's his world, man. It's his world. So give me Patchy Mix. I guess I'll go decision here. Now, if Patchy loses, I don't know what the fuck the UFC does with him. He's already on the early prelims, and it's a shame to see a guy of this caliber down here. And really a shame for Jakub Wiklacz, right? You're having to face such a high caliber guy in such a low spot. Give me Patchy Mix by decision. We spent too much goddamn time on that. Moving on. We've got Macy Chiasson. And she has taken on Yana Kunitskaya, a.k.a. Yana Santos, guys. This is a tough fight, man. Again, I told you guys, a couple of these are tough, right? Macy Chiasson, a long-bodied striker, I guess. She's solid. Good kicks, good power, decent technique on the feet. Not a huge fan, but she is a well-rounded fighter. She's shown improvements in her ground game. And being a girl that size, the ground game, you would think, would be her bread and butter. I like that she's adjusted and that now she is going there. She's taken on Yana Santos, a well-rounded veteran of the game, a striker by trade, another fighter who's improved her grappling as her career has went on. I think skill for skill, Yana Santos is the better fighter. I mean, on the feet, she is more technical. She is more experienced, all that. She's faced tougher competition. Yana is the better fighter of the two. It's the age, though, for me, guys. It's the age. Yana Kunitskaya is almost 40 years old. So I gotta go Macy Chiasson here. I think the underdog in Santos is it's a pick that I can see people making. It's a bet that I don't mind throwing on. And if you're looking for bets, don't worry. Stay tuned. Wednesday night, maybe Thursday night, we are dropping the betting video with Harry from Prochimo Bets, and we'll have all our best bets on there. But I could see a sprinkle there. I'm not super goddamn confident, but give me Macy Chiasson, the younger, longer, bigger, probably more powerful fighter at this point by decision. Moving on, Chris Gutierrez, and he has taken on Farid Basharat. Now, this is the Basharat brother that is still undefeated, right? This is the Basharat brother that I personally thought on the come-up was the worst of the two, but it looks like he's the better of the two, and he has taken on Chris Gutierrez. Guys, Farid Basharat, well-rounded, good movement, wide stance, good wrestling, good cardio. He is so goddamn well-rounded. There's nothing about his game that really sticks out to me. He's fast, he's defensive, he's smart, he plays it safe. He's a very goddamn good fighter. It's just a shame that there isn't this one particular thing we could pick with Farid Basharat that really sticks out or that really kind of puts him over that hump, right? If he was this guy, but he had fucking nasty power, he's elite. If he was this guy, but his wrestling was, Habib Nurmagomedov, or like whatever. If he had one trait that really stuck out, he'd be a really goddamn good fighter. He's taken on Chris Gutierrez, a dangerously underrated fighter, guys. A good striker, unbelievable leg kicks, some of the best in the sport, a tough guy. He's faced high levels of competition, solidly well-rounded as well. I do think Farid Basharat is going to implement the wrestling in this game, and that's where he holds the biggest advantage. Now, on the feet, it's more of a 50-50 fight, but again, Farid Basharat, high IQ, right? He will go to that wrestling. He will utilize his motor, and I think if he grapples, he wins this fight. I assume that's the case. So avoid your leg getting chewed up. Get in on Chris Gutierrez, and you should win this fight. It's a very different fight if we find ourselves 3 minutes into round one, and, Farid Basharat has eaten 4 or 5 leg kicks from Chris Gutierrez, and he's limping, and he's not able to explode the way he wants to. All bets are off. Maybe you live bet Chris Gutierrez if you see Farid Basharat limping a little bit. But ultimately, the pick is Farid Basharat by decision. We move on. Next fight of the night. We've got the golden boy, Emmett Shahbazyan, and he has taken on Andre Muniz. Very, very classic striker versus grappler fight here, guys. There's not too much to break down. We got Emmett Shahbazyan, obviously the striker, right? Nice kicks, decent power. The problem with Emmett Shahbazyan has always been grapplers, and it's the fact that he overextends when he throws, and that leads him to be off balance, and at that point, you're not a career-long grappler. You're getting fucking taken down, and when he's on the ground, he is absolutely lost. He has taken on Andre Muniz, a jiu-jitsu specialist, right? A guy with... most of these jiu-jitsu guys don't have phenomenal wrestling. Andre Muniz's wrestling is solid. It's very serviceable for the kind of fighter he is. Now, on the feet, he's not as good as, obviously as he is on the ground, but he does have some solid power, so there is something to worry about there. Now, this fight is either going to take place on the feet or it's going to take place on the ground. I know that's obvious, but these two fighters are going to be trying to dictate that thing. Edmund's going to want to keep it on the feet. Muniz is going to want to keep it on the ground. Whoever wins that battle is winning this fight. I'm assuming Emmett Shahbazyan does, right? I think he shucks off maybe the first takedown attempt or two. And I think at that point, Andre Muniz is like, you know what? I'm going in. I got to get to this guy's body. That's the only way I'm going to take him down. And then he gets absolutely cracked. So I'm going Emmett Shahbazyan. I have written down round 1 KO. I think that's a little... I'm being a little overzealous here. I'll go round 2 TKO, maybe after Muniz slows down a bit, but I see Emmett Shahbazyan winning this fight. Again, the odds to me are a little wild on this. Minus 290 for what I see is like a minus 160 kind of fight. So give me Shahbazyan, give me a TKO. We move on to the main card, guys. And it's a very goddamn good main card. We've got Abus Magomedov, and he is taking on Joe Bodybags, Joe Pyfer. Guys, Joe Pyfer, a very powerful fighter, like really, really goddamn good power. He hits hard as shit. He can turn your lights off with one shot. He's well-rounded. Great wrestling as well. All of those Philly guys are really goddamn good in the grappling, good with the jiu-jitsu as well. Tough, gritty, aggressive. A guy that's not, never going to quit on himself. I really like Joe Body Bags. He does tend to slow down towards the end of fights, right? Obviously, his cardio kind of fails him towards the end of fights. But that's not a problem because he's taking on Abus Magomedov, who is probably worse in the cardio department. Abus Magomedov, pound for pound, a top 10 guy when it comes to shitty cardio in the UFC. But Abus Magomedov is long-bodied, right? He's a long-bodied long-bodied striker. And with the Magomedov last name, you would assume he has some wrestling, and he does. It is there. It is in his back pocket. And he can utilize that, right? At times, I just don't know that he could utilize it against Joe Pyfer. I think Joe Pyfer is just better in every single category than Abus Magomedov. I actually like this minus 238 as opposed to some of maybe the wider odds we saw earlier on this card. I think Joe Body Bags absolutely outclasses Abus Magomedov. I'm going Joe Pyfer, late round 2, early round 3 KO as Abus begins to fade. Joe Body Bags puts the pressure on him, and that power becomes too much. Give me Joe Body Bags, TKO. Moving on to the next fight of the night. And we've got Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. A weird fight for me, right? If this was 3 years ago, it's Josh Emmett like 1,000,000%. But we're not 3 years ago. We're in the year of our Lord 2025, and it is a completely goddamn different fight, guys. As you see, Youssef Zalal minus 440. It's pretty goddamn wild, right? But I guess I get it. I mean, Youssef Zalal, a much improved fighter from his first stint in the UFC the second time around. He's defensively responsible, guys, and that is a fucking massive thing. Defensively responsible, and I use that term because what he does is he pops and backs up and he gets out of the way the whole time. This is a guy that does not get touched inside the cage anymore. He refuses to be touched. At times he can be low volume. At times the fighting style can be boring, right? There's been this whole narrative since UFC 319 with the Khamzat Chimaev thing where if you don't like grappling, fuck off. Go watch kickboxing. Go watch striking. There's boring strikers, guys, right? I'm sick of the whole, like, you're a casual if you don't enjoy something. You enjoy the sport, and you can enjoy what you like about it, and you can enjoy the people you fucking like about it. Like, the people that are in it, you can hate them, you could love them. That's none of my fucking business. That's your prerogative. You do what you want. Youssef Zalal, very goddamn boring. He's a boring style striker, but it is effective, and it is really fucking high IQ, and he infuriates his opponents. It is what it is. He's taking on Josh Emmett. He is a man. He is 40. Guys, power is the last thing to go, right? And God damn it, it's the last thing to go for Josh Emmett as well. Crazy power on top of being one of the most dangerous guys on the feet and pound for pound being a guy that if power was a ranking, he would be in that pound for pound list. He's got really goddamn good wrestling, Josh Emmett. We don't see it as much. Again, another wrestler by trade who came in and fell in love with the power in his hands. And if I was Josh Emmett putting people out and dropping people the way he does, I'd be in love with my hands too, but he's really goddamn good. He's a good wrestler as well, is what I was trying to say. He's fought the creme de la creme of this fucking division, guys. Just a veteran, a mainstay. Again, 2-3 years ago, clear Josh Emmett. Nowadays, it's got to be Youssef Zalal, right? I mean, Josh Emmett is the more dangerous fighter. He has the better wins. He's the stronger, more powerful guy. He hits harder. But Youssef Zalal is younger, and he's improving at a very fast rate, and he is defensively sound. Okay, he is defensively sound. I had a conversation with Corey Brundage, friend of the channel. Shout out Mr. Brundage. And I was like, man, when the fuck did Youssef Zalal get this good? You know, he's a training partner of his. And he's like, dude, he's always been this good. It's just that now he's coming into his own. And I believe it, man. Youssef Zalal is a good fighter. And I will go Youssef Zalal by decision. I think Josh Emmett's just going to be too slow to touch him. And now we move on to the 3 fights that everybody's looking forward to. Friend of the channel, and arguably my favorite fighter of all time, this man right here, Yuri Prochazka, and he has taken on Khalil Rountree Jr. Guys, this is an absolute banger, okay? Both of these guys coming off of a victory versus Jamal Hill. So you watch those 2 Jamal Hill fights, and they play out very differently, right? Jamal Hill against Khalil Rountree. Not to shit on Jamal Hill or shit on Khalil Rountree's performance, but that was a fat version of Jamal Hill. If you look, he's a very different, like just even the physique was very different than it was for the Yuri Prochazka fight. But Jamal Hill couldn't get to Khalil Rountree. And for what it's worth, Yuri and Jamal Hill had a somewhat back and forth matchup, right? Like Khalil picked Jamal apart. Yuri picked him apart and finished him. But there was a little more back and forth, right? Anyways, Yuri Prochazka, guys, absolute madman. As I mentioned, friend of the channel. He follows us on Instagram. You should do it too. Crazy power, awkward striking. Everything comes from awkward angles, nonstop pressure, a motor that keeps going, and he's got a couple of screws loose. And I absolutely love that about Yuri Prochazka. He is a finisher to the highest degree. He's taken on Khalil Rountree, a Muay Thai specialist, right? Very skillful, very technical, very goddamn fast for the weight class, and has serious power. Good leg kicks, and that's a problem for Yuri because we have seen him struggle with that on numerous occasions, famously in the Alex Pereira fights, the Rakic fight as well. The thing with Khalil is he's so goddamn good, and he's so much better when he's on the front foot. Right. And if you go watch Khalil Rountree's category, you see that becoming a theme. Anytime he's the advancing party, those are generally speaking going to be his better performances. When he's able to dictate the range, when he's able to be the one pushing, when he's the one being pushed back, it's a completely different story. Yuri Prochazka is not a fighter that will ever be pushed back. Even in Yuri's losses, which have been KO losses, unfortunately, the Pereiras, and you look back at Ryzen and you think of the King Mo fight, it's Yuri advancing. He will never take a step back. Even a hurt Yuri is engaging. So I just think the pressure of Yuri Prochazka combined with the fact that Khalil Rountree is not so good when he's backing up, and the fact that I've seen Khalil Rountree break, right? If you're not putting Yuri away with one shot, Yuri doesn't break. Khalil Rountree is a guy that will break. That's kind of where my head's at. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm biased. I see minus 180 Yuri, and yes, it's a scary fight. I'm going to be nervous, but I'm going Yuri Prochazka. I think he doesn't allow Khalil to push him. I think he will be the one pressuring, and besides a big shot landing, I don't see how Khalil Rountree wins this fight. Give me Yuri, TKO, round 2 late. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be nerve-wracking. I think it is going to be fucking thrilling and the fight of the night for as long as it's going on until Yuri Prochazka finds that finishing shot and that finishing sequence. So give me Yuri, round 2, TKO. Let's go for that. All right. Moving on. We go from Yuri to an absolute another, my boy, another friend of the channel. I don't care. I can call him that. Yeah, he doesn't follow us on Instagram, but he talks to me all the time. That's my boy, Merab Dvalishvili, and he is taking on Corey Sandhagen, who Corey Sandhagen's back, I guess, right? Like, a lot of people are kind of having issues with the matchmaking here. They're saying, oh, it should be Umar. Guys, if anything, it should be Peter Yan. It's Peter Yan's turn. I know that's not a fresh matchup. We've seen that fight. But like Corey Sandhagen, like, I guess he deserves it. Not I guess. He deserves it more than Umar, even though he lost to Umar. It's a weird situation. Either way, Corey Sandhagen's here. Coming off a win versus Davison Figueiredo at the UFC Fight Night in Iowa, which we were at. Great performance, right? He injured Figgy. It is what it is. Let's start with Corey, I guess. Long-bodied, well-rounded fighter. A striker for sure with some very funky jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. An improving ground game, which, again, we saw last time out with Davison Figueiredo. Long limbs, which makes him dangerous in the stand-up and on the ground. Now, on the feet, Corey Sandhagen's danger comes from his knees, right? It comes from those knees. It comes from those wheel kicks, the head kicks. It's all about the knees and the head kicks for the power with Corey Sandhagen. I don't think he has too much power in his hands, right? So Merab's got to be really goddamn careful. It's not that little check left that, has dropped Merab, right? When you look at the Marias fight or the Henry Cejudo fight where Merab's been caught with that left hand. This is more of a one-shot, kill shot kind of thing with Corey Sandhagen. Merab needs to avoid that at all costs. Merab, and then we get to Merab, right? The champ, guys, nonstop cardio machine. He will chain takedowns together like absolutely nobody else in UFC history. Nonstop gas tank. He will drain his opponent's gas tank. Insane forward pressure from Merab. And to me, that is the most impressive thing about him. right? People say it's the cardio of Merab, which is absolutely phenomenal. And yes, it is the best. It is the best cardio in UFC history. He weaponizes pace unlike anyone ever has. But I think the pressure of Merab Dvalishvili is the most important thing, right? I think it's the thing that makes him win these fights. You can have all the cardio in the world, but if you're not the one dictating the pace of this fight, that doesn't fucking matter. He's pushing you. He is causing you to retreat. He is causing you to panic with all these takedowns you're having to defend, all these backward steps you're having to take. He's feinting. He's coming in at you, and you're just hands up. You're popping shots that go nowhere. It's fucking exhausting, guys. And that's where Merab wins his fights, right? So Merab needs to stay safe from those big shots. He should win this fight, guys. He should win this fight. Is there danger? Of course there's danger. Corey Sandhagen has a highlight reel for a reason. But Merab is a master of winning rounds, guys, and that's what this is going to come down to. I don't see a finish. I really don't. I mean, I have this like fantasy of Merab spinning back fisting him and Corey Sandhagen's just face down, ass up. That'd be unbelievable. But I don't really see a finish, right? I see this fight being just a 25-minute nonstop kind of just going with Corey Sandhagen kind of having peaks and valleys of success, but ultimately Merab leading the dance, causing him to win this fight. So I will say Merab Dvalishvili 48-47, 49-46, maybe on one card. Let's say two 48-47s, a 49-46 from Merab. One more thing of note, right? We have to notice with Corey Sandhagen, he tends to fold. He tends to fold in these massive situations, right? Title fights. Let's talk about those. He had the title fight against Peter Yan. Fucking folded. He had the number one contender fight against Umar. Folded. Number one contender fight going back in the day against Aljamain Sterling. Folded and got choked out in like a minute. The fight with TJ Dillashaw. Unbelievable fight. I don't want to say he folded in that one, but he lost a very, very close, controversial fight. It just seems we don't get the best Corey Sandhagen when we get to that like pinnacle point. And you can argue and say, well, he won the Davison-Figueiredo fight. Guys, Davison-Figueiredo is a flyweight that went up that had really goddamn good success, but he's an older guy who's small for the division. He's already a little injured going into that fight. You guys know I was there. I was with Captain Eric, and all that. I had a feel for what Figgy was going through that week. And I don't want to give any excuses, but it just is what it is, right? Corey Sandhagen capitalized on an opportunity there. I just don't know if he does that to a Peter Yan, right? Because we saw him lose to a Peter Yan. I don't know if he does that to a Umar Nurmagomedov. We saw him lose to a Umar Nurmagomedov. The fight that everyone wanted was Corey Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. Maybe if Merab beats Corey Sandhagen, we can see that fight. I just don't see Corey Sandhagen winning, guys. Give me Merab by decision. And then we find out what's next. Maybe it's Pantoja. Maybe it's Umar again. Who knows? Maybe it's Peter Yan. We move on to the main event of the evening. And it's a banger. It's a banger. I know last time out, guys, the fight was so, honestly. It was such a intense buildup to the week. It was such an intense buildup in the card. And then the walkout and the stare downs. And it was like, holy shit, this is massive. And then the fight was sort of a letdown, right? And I'm not saying that because I'm an Alex Pereira fan. God knows I'm not. But it was just a kind of a letdown fight. I mean, round one, not too much happened. Round two, not too much happened until the big moment right at the end where Ankalaev, caught Alex and dropped him back into the cage. Round three, nothing happened. Round four was all just held up against the cage. And then round five, not much happened. Like, I just rewatched the fight for the third time, and I have it minute by minute memorized. Let me start by saying this. Number one, not too much happened in that fight. Number two, the stunning moment, right? The moment where Ankalaev dropped Alex Pereira when he stumbled him back into the cage. I remember watching live and being like, holy shit, and concerned for Alex Pereira. Like, this is it. He's going to get knocked out in the third round. He was saved by the bell. Upon rewatching it, guys, it's not that serious of a shot. It really just isn't. It's a clean shot that lands. Pereira is fine immediately. Now, as far as the fight itself, if you guys remember, and I'm not trying to be a recency bias guy or whatever, the narrative now is that Ankalaev dominated Alex Pereira, and he almost finished him in round two. When the narrative, the night of the fight, the moment they wrapped the belt around Magomed Ankalaev was, holy shit, that might have been a robbery. Let's not mince words, guys. Let's not forget. Let's not change history. That's what the fuck happened. You can go Google for yourself. Go look up the verdict scorecards. Go look it up. The majority of people had Alex Pereira winning rounds 1, 3, and 5. I'm not saying he won the fight. I think it was 3-2 Pereira. It could have easily been 3-2. It could have been 4-1 for Ankalaev. My point is, it was really goddamn close. And if there was any fishy shit, any funny business going on, they could have robbed that fight and gave it to Pereira, and not too many people would have complained robbery is all I'm saying. It was goddamn close. Now, let's talk about the techniques, right? Let's talk about what's actually going down in the fights. First round, Alex Pereira is doing a decent job of advancing, right? Early on, especially in that first round, Ankalaev is kind of trying to figure out the pace. He's trying to figure out the range. Alex is chewing up that front leg. And Alex Pereira's calf kick is always a key in his fights. But what Magomed Ankalaev keyed on with that calf kick was, if I eat the calf kick, I'm returning fire immediately. So anytime he ate a calf kick, go watch round 1 specifically, he would eat the calf kick and immediately counter with something. Big shots, not just something, big shots. So I think that's where they were trying to catch Alex slipping. Didn't really happen. Round 2, that slows down. Round 3, that slows down. And, the later we get into the fight, he starts eating a couple more leg kicks clean and not returning off of them. But it's definitely a priority for Team Ankalaev is to return something on those calf kicks. So there's that. Now, the grappling, right? A lot was made about the grappling last time out. And the whole narrative was, if Ankalaev can get Pereira down, the fight's over. If he can't, the fight's over. Pereira's going to knock him out. Well, neither of those things happened. Ankalaev was not able to get a takedown, and Alex Pereira didn't knock him out. So it really didn't matter because Ankalaev won the fight ultimately with that. I just think that Alex Pereira focused too much on the goddamn wrestling defense. He didn't let go, guys. He was too hesitant. Anytime they got close, he was too hesitant. There was never really more than just a moment of like, let me let it go. It would be like you could see the trigger kind of get pulled in Alex where he's like, let's go for it. He would throw the left hook, especially like in the middle of the fight. He started kind of spamming the left hook. He was going for it. But then anytime Ankalaev would shoot one of those half-ass takedowns, it was just like, you know what? I can't get taken down. I can't lose rounds. I think the strategy for Alex Pereira, I don't think much changes in the strategy besides the fact that you got to let your fucking hands go. If he takes you down, he takes you down and you lose this round. And it is what it is. Just don't get subbed. And if not, you have to throw something to make Ankalaev respect you. His team is not respecting you at this point. They don't think your power is all that. They don't think that left hook is all that. He ate it a couple of times. Alex Pereira low-key did wobble him with a couple of head kicks, so that's something to think about. Ultimately, guys, my strategy with picking rematches is always to go with the guy that won the last fight, unless there is something egregious that I see or something wild happened. While I do think there is a world that Alex Pereira won that first fight, Magomed Ankalaev ultimately won it, and I don't see a reason to change that. Alex Pereira's only gotten older. You would assume his skills are fading. There's been murmurs of an injury, just saying. And anytime there's pre-shit going on, I don't like that. And then Magomed Ankalaev has to, we're assuming he's getting better. So give me Magomed Ankalaev. I'm going decision again. I think it's going to be wider than last time. I think Alex Pereira can catch him for what that's worth. I think plus 210 is worth a sprinkle. It's like the Derek Lewis effect. Anytime you see Derek Lewis, you're willing to fucking sprinkle when he's plus money. So give me Magomed Ankalaev by decision. He says no more Chama. We shall see. Anyways, that is UFC 320 quick picks, guys. We went on a little longer than usual. Usually we try to keep it to like 25 minutes, but it's a big card. It's a fucking massive card. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Dino Bam Bam. This was the Ten7 MMA. If you enjoyed, do us a favor. Hit that like and subscribe button like right there at the bottom. And then also follow us on Instagram at D107 MMA. Just like this guy, Yuri Prochazka does. Look out tomorrow, guys. Tuesday night, we will be doing a full podcast, me and DS. That should be coming out tomorrow night. Tuesday or Wednesday night, we will be doing the live stream. And that's going to be with Harry from Prochmo Bets and the very fucking popular superstar of MMA media, Dana Black, guys. Our boy Chris, he's going to be back on with us. Should be fun. Should be a fun-ass week. We're going to be going live. We're going to be doing a lot of talking. If you guys enjoyed, do all this stuff. Leave us a comment. Let me know who you're rooting for, who you think is going to win. Am I wrong? Am I an asshole? Am I right? Do you agree with me? I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. It's so goddamn good to be back. Thank you for watching. Peace.